Hello, my name is Tim Roberts. I'm a certified SOLIDWORKS application engineer here at GoEngineer. In this GoEngineer Quick Tips video, I will be discussing the width mate. We go to our mates. The first thing that probably comes up is standard mates, but if you look below that, we have this advanced mate set, and that's where we find our width mate. It requires two selection sets. The first selection set will be a width selection, and the second set will be a tab selection. And essentially we're trying to center the width selections within the tab selections within the width. For example, if we select as our width selections our slot faces here and here, if our intent was to have this dovetail kind of ride through this dovetail slot, we could select our tab selections as these faces, and that centers it perfectly in the slot. Let's just do a coincident mate. To put that down on the floor, we'll just do a standard coincident mate. And now you can see very nicely that we've managed to achieve the motion that we're after here on the dovetail. Another very handy thing is I'll control drag a copy of this is for the case to where you want to have something centered. Usually a rectangular square centered on another rectangular square. The width mate works great for that. Let's demonstrate that here. If our intent was to have this centered, let's start off by put a standard coincident mate to put it down on the surface there. And if we want it centered this way, we'll apply a width mate in this direction. That'll be our width selection here. Our tab selection will be two opposing faces on the block, and that's perfectly centered there. A little bit off in this direction, so if we pick as our width mate width selections here, tab selections, we could use this face or this face. I'll just use the beveled face there. That is perfectly centered on our gold object. And now the beauty of this is if the gold object changed its dimensions, such as this, it will still stay centered exactly in the middle of that. So one last thing I'd like to point out is the use of the width mate with something other than square geometry. For instance, if we had a knob, could we use the width mate on geometry like this? Well, we actually could. If we applied the width mate to this geometry, our tab selections are going to become our cylindrical face. You can use a cylindrical face or you can use a temporary axis. Very nicely you can get that part to move through the slot. And if we do a final mate, just to put it on the floor of the slot, we'll just use our standard coincident mate. We can achieve the same motion with the cylinder. Now, could we have used a temporary axis? Well, certainly we could. If we edit the width mate and we turn on our temporary axes, okay, we can achieve exactly the same thing with the temporary axis in the width mate. This has been Tim Roberts with GoEngineer. Hope you enjoyed this video. Check out our other videos for more tips on using SOLIDWORKS. Thank you.